So again, welcome. My name is Marie Strauch. I'm the educator with your new school. Today's webinar is going to be on the blooming gel Ombre code. So welcome to the world of Nail Alliance. Our mission statement is to provide the salon industry with all the tools needed to help make salon businesses even more successful with the latest and greatest in nail products, establish opportunity for learning through proper education and training courses domestically and internationally, create superiority with as the go-to nail manufacturer for state-of-the-art products proven to perform to the best of standards, motto done right from the start, and to understand the needs of the salon. As nail professionals ourselves, we have a clear understanding of the industry and the demand for the highest quality products and services possible, which is why quality has and will always be our number one priority. So who is Nail Alliance? We are the Gelish Soak Off Gel Polishes, Gelish Hard Gels, Morgan Taylor Nail Polish, Bare Luxury Manicure Pedicure Products, Nail Harmony, Prohesion, and more. So today we're going to talk a little bit about nail art, and specifically these two products that you can use for nail art. We're going to talk about the Gelish Dip LED Ombre Coat, Gelish Soak Off Gel Blooming Gel. So 53% of salons offer nail art. It's an easy upgrade to build your service menu. And with these products, it's going to make it even that much easier. So you can charge up to $10 more per service. So anywhere from a $5 to $10 or a 10 to 22% increase in revenue is really easy to achieve with these products. Even if you're not somebody who is passionate about nail art or enjoys doing nail art. This is going to be a great option for you for just quick, simple designs that otherwise used to be a little more difficult to perform. So here are the two products. We've got our Ombre dipping or Ombre code for the dip system. So Ombre and still is a really high demand service or look on the nail. And if you've ever used the dip system and tried to get a nice ombre with the dip system, it's actually very difficult to do. And previously with the original Gelish dip powder, I used to just take a fluffed out synthetic brush or like an old acrylic brush. I would dip it into the dipping powder and then I would kind of buff it on like eyeshadow onto a tacky base coat. I would let the base coat dry a little bit and then I would just kind of buff in the powder to give it an ombre look. And that worked for a while. And then we came out with the Express dip powder, which had activator in it. And the problem with that is the moment the powder hits the base coat, it immediately cured. So I wasn't able to get the ombre look or that feathered look anymore with the new Express dip until the ombre powder came. And this makes it so much easier. So we'll definitely show you how to use that. And then blooming gel, this is what's going to help you create those beautiful marble or watercolor looks within minutes. Now I've done this without blooming gel. I used to use just the matte top coat as my blooming gel, and it worked pretty well, not as nicely as blooming gel. So if you're somebody who does not have blooming gel, but you still want to try to do those blooming techniques, use the matte top coat. It works pretty well. Again, not as great as blooming gel, but it got me by up until blooming gel came about. So first, let's talk about ombre coat. So this is going to create that perfect ombre with system. You do need to use an LED light because it is an LED cure product that can be used with the dip system. So the first thing you want to do is do your normal dip application. So after you've done your 2 coats of your chosen dipped color on your whole nail and you've buffed the surface of the nail. Now the only thing you want to remember is when you're using the dip system, we usually buff with the 100, 180, and then we switch to the 220, 240. Don't use the 220, 240 buffer. Only use the 180, the 100, 180, because we're going to be putting the ombre coat on, which is a gel product, and it needs a more textured surface to adhere to. So you're going to do your 2 dips, apply your final coat of base coat and activator, let that cure or harden or dry, and then buff the surface of the nail. So once you've activated and buffed, then you're going to apply a thin coat of ombre coat and cure for 30 seconds in your 18G. Then you will pick whatever color you want to use as your ombre, and you will dip the free edge of the finger into your powder, and I bounce my finger in there a few times just to build up some color on the free edge, and then you'll just tap off the excess and cure for another 30 seconds. So the ombre coat needs a full 60-second cure. The first 30 seconds is to get the surface tacky, not completely wet, so that the powder can stick to it. And then the second cure is so that that powder that you dipped will then cure to the ombre coat. And then you'll build upon that. So if you want it to be a little more opaque of an ombre, then you'll do another coat. And I typically do 3 coats. And then once I'm satisfied with the ombre look, I then will top it off with my top it off top coat, give that a 30-second cure, and cleanse the surface of the nail. And we've created our beautiful ombre using the dip system. Now, blooming gel, this is what you're going to use on the gel polish for that nice marbled or watercolor look. And it's really easy to use this product. So what you're going to do is apply 2 coats of your chosen base color. So polish the nail as you normally would. And then you'll do a thin coat of your blooming gel. Do not cure it. Then with either a dotting tool or your nail art brushes, you will add the colors that you want to marble or bloom or create your tortoiseshell kind of look, whatever design you're trying to go for. You'll apply those colors and let the blooming gel do its job and let it melt those colors. The thinner your blooming gel, the slower the bloom or the dissipation of the polish will become. The thicker you apply that blooming gel, the more it's going to watercolor out or bleed out, I guess would be a good word to use. So I like to do thinner coats, so I have a little more of a controlled bloom. If you do it a little thicker, you can like tilt the hand from side to side and the polish will start to spread on you, and you can create other designs just using gravity. So that's the fun part about blooming gel. And then once you're satisfied with the way it looks, give it a 30-second cure and then top it off with your choice of top coats. And that's it. It's really easy. I'm really excited to show you the 2 products because I have been having some fun with them. And then if you want more information on Nail Alliance products, you would have your schools reach out to the account executives at your new school. And then for future webinars, they reach out to myself. So I'll flip my camera on and get to doing some nail art. And then while I'm flipping my camera, for those of you who, if you have not done so yet, and you just logged in, please make sure that you type your attendance information into the chat box. It needs to be your full name, full school name, and school location. All right, we're gonna do the ombre coat first. So we're gonna do, and then we'll do blooming gel on these. So ombre, regardless of the colors you choose, it's the same technique. And this one away. So I've already prepped the nail. We're gonna grab our base coat. I'm gonna mute whoever's microphone that is. Give me 1 second. Okay. And then I'm going to make my video the spotlight video. There we go. All right. So we're going to do, I did a dip webinar earlier. So these are the colors that I have out. So these are the colors I'm going to use. I'm using Just One Bite and Fashion Above All. So we're going to get our powder ready. When it comes to dipping, make sure you follow your state regulations when it comes to dipping. If you are not allowed to dip in the jar, make sure you have other containers that you can dispense your powder into and dispense and dip accordingly. Now, if you are using these mannequin hands, they fill up with a lot of powder because of the hole that's underneath there. So you'll have to do a lot more tapping to get that powder out. Otherwise, you make a hot mess, which I'm going to be making a hot mess because I always do. Get the excess off. We're going to do our second coat. So your prep for whether it's dip or a gel polish application is a dry manicure. So make sure that you sanitize your client's hands and nails, push back the eponychium, clean the surrounding nail plate of any excess cuticle, file and shape the natural nail. Using your 100-180 grit buffer, you're going to buff the surface of the nail to remove the surface shine. And then you'll dehydrate with your dehydrator. So for the dip system, you'll use prep. And for the gel polish, you would dehydrate with pH bond. All right, so we have our base color. Now, if you wanted to do a third coat, let's say you missed a spot or the cuticle area just wasn't as intense as you wanted it to be, you can go ahead and do a second coat. But if you're satisfied with the 2 coats like I am, I'm going to grab my activator and I'm going to put my activator over the surface of the nail, and we're going to wait 20 seconds. And then after the 20 seconds, we're going to grab our base coat again, and we'll do our final coat of base coat. When I do my final coat of base coat over my activator, I'm not pushing down on my bristles. I'm really doing a very light hand and kind of just gliding over the surface. I don't want to push down and really fan it out because I don't want to get any activator on my brush. That causes it to harden up. What's the YouTube channel's exact link? I'll send it to your school. Our YouTube is private, so it's just for beauty schools. So I will send the link to our YouTube channel once the video is uploaded to your school, and then they can share that with you. So we're going to wait for the base coat to dry so that we can then just buff the surface of the nail. So it's been activated. We put our base coat on. That's already dry. So I'm going to grab my buffer and I'm going to give it a light buff just to smooth out the surface. So just like you would if you were doing a normal dip. So all of our normal dipping steps. And now we're ready for our ombre coat. So typically what you would do next, if you were doing a normal dip system, is you would do another layer of activator, wait the 20 seconds, remove the excess, and then finish with your top coat. Well, we're not going to do that. So we're going to do a red ombre over this shimmery champagne color. So I'm going to grab my ombre coat, and you want to do thin coats. You don't want to do it too thick. If you do it too thick, it just creates a lot of bulk, and we don't want to make it too bulky. So you just need a real thin application, and it's a pretty thick product to begin with. So you just need a thin amount. We're going to give that a 30-second cure. And then we will grab our red. And we're just going to dip into the red as high as you want. Now you don't really have to tap all this off. I'm tapping because I know red got inside my mannequin hand, so I'm just trying to get all that red out of the mannequin hand. Give that a 30-second cure. And then I'll dust it off just so that I can see if I want to do another coat, which I know I am. I'm probably going to do 2 more coats. Yeah, definitely going to do 2 more coats. So it's getting there. So I want to make that a little more intense. Give that a 30-second cure. And then we'll dip again. I don't think that went off. My lamp is filthy. All right, let's give that another dip to our powder. And then cure the powder to the ombre gel or the ombre coat. Again, don't forget, if you have not done so yet, make sure you type your attendance information into that chat box, full name, full school name, and school location. If you're an educator with your students, I just need your school name and location with the word group next to your school name, so I know that you guys are together, and I will send over certificates after the webinar. All right, let's take a look and see if I want to do another coat. Yes, I do. I always do. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm going to do another coat. So you can just build and build and build until you get the desired ombre you want. I mean, if it was something that you wanted subtle, then just do 1. If you're looking for more of like just that very subtle shading, and then you're going to do a design on top of that, absolutely you can do that. Maybe that's what we'll do. I'll do a design after this has been top coated. We'll put something on top of it, maybe do some sugar art. Why are you not staying on? All right, so I'm happy with what I've got. We're going to go ahead and top coat it, and then I may do some art on top of that. Give that a 30-second cure. So I'm using the traditional, I do not know why my lamp is not staying on. It's sensing something. It keeps shutting off. I mean, I know my house is haunted, but all right, let's cleanse the nail, and then we'll put a little design on top of it using some dipping powder. Grab this, grab. Load up my brush. And grab my large dotting tool. And we'll make it look like a dripping snowflake. Grab our white dipping powder. Throw that over it. Cure the powder to the polish. And then we're done with that nail. So there we have it. We have a little bit of sugar art. We've got our ombre coat. And now we'll move on to our blooming gel. So blooming gel, I love blooming gel. It is so much fun. We'll polish a few. We'll do a couple different options with blooming gel. have our ombre with a little bit of a icicle coming off of the edge. And I'm going to get rid of some of this powder so that it's not all over the place. And we'll get the powder off of the rest of these nails. So these nails have all been buffed. Since they're plastic, we don't need to put a base on them. We can go straight to 2 coats of our color. So we'll do one nail black. I was going to have these pre-polished, but then I knew that the dipping powder would get everywhere. So when you're working with blooming gel, a couple things you want to remember is you have to have a working knowledge of your color wheel. You want to make sure that you're not trying to blend colors that are opposite each other on that color wheel. Otherwise, you're going to end up creating a muddy, mucky color. For example, if you were trying to do red and green make brown. Blue and orange make a shade of brown, yellow and violet. So just be careful what colors you are mixing or trying to blend if you're going to be doing multiple colors, so that you're not creating muddy looking colors. All right. Let's give that a 30-second cure. Do our second coat. And where's my blooming gel? Blooming gel. So blooming gel is you're going to do a thin coat and you're not going to cure it. You're going to then put your secondary or whatever colors you want to marble or bloom onto the nail. All right, so let's do our secondary. Let's do our blooming gel. So we'll first do like that tortoiseshell kind of look. So you're going to take your blooming gel and you're going to do a nice thin coat. Grab my palette. darkest brown. So I'm kind of just bricklaying my colors on, and then I'm going to let the gel do its own thing. So I'm just going to let it melt the color and let it, and I'm just kind of twisting the hand and turning it. So you just have your clients kind of turn their hand, and it's going to shift the gel so that it can create that nice little tortoise shell, and it just kind of blooms it out. And then once you're happy with the way it's blooming, then you'll go ahead and just give that a cure for 30 seconds. So the two colors that I used for this one, the base color was Shake It Till You Make It, and the darker brown was Front of House Glam from the Sink collection. Then you can also do more of a marbling design. So again, do a thin coat. Grab your choice of colors that you want to marble. So we'll do some blue. This is, what is this? This is Breakout Star. We'll do some champagne kind of color, All Eyes on Maina. And maybe some black shadow. And then you're just going to, wherever you want that blooming to take effect, that's where you're going to apply your color. And I'm going to let the blooming gel do its thing. A little more veining. I'm just going to let it melt itself together. Until I like it. I'm going to add a little more gold up here. we'll give that a 30-second cure. Now, another thing you can do with your blooming gel is you can kind of bloom it off of the nail. So what I'm going to do is over the black, I'm going to take a color called Heaven Scent, which is like a milky pink kind of color, or a milky, just kind of like a milky color. It's not opaque, it's very sheer, it's not white, it's not pink, it's kind of in between the two. So we're going to make sure that's Heaven Scent and not white. So it's going to be similar to this, except instead of blooming the color on, we're going to bloom it off. So I'm going to put my second color, my Heaven Scent, all over the nail. And then I'm going to put blooming gel on my palette. And I'm going to take blooming gel and put blooming gel over this milky color, and then it's going to almost make it look like water droplets as opposed to tortoiseshell. So it's going to make it look like water dripped into your polish. Is that going to show us? So the camera is not bringing it up because I think it's too dark of a color. So, well, let's cure it and see if it looks good cured. Like, it looks good on my end. You just can't see it on your end because it's too dark. So it's going to just kind of make it look like water spots as opposed to tortoiseshell. So you can get two things with the blooming gel. You can either bloom your colors out, or you apply a layer and then kind of dissipate the all over color that you've put on the nail. So you have two choices or two ways you can use the blooming gel. I don't know if that will show up on camera. All right, so what I did is I threw some gray over my nail, and then I threw some blooming gel over it. Problem is I already have a top coat underneath, so it's not blooming out like it should, but it's starting to make it look like you can start to see the beigey color underneath the dots. Let's see, not showing up on camera. All right, let's cleanse our top coat. Or you could have used the no cleanse top coat and gave it a 60-second cure. Let's see if I can get it to autofocus on just this nail. Nope, it's not going to. Come on, autofocus. Or not. It's such a shame because it actually looks really cool. It almost looks like smoke. And the camera is not picking up and not doing this any justice, but it has this like soft gray all around the edges. And then wherever I put the blooming gel, it looks like smoke from that heaven scent on top of the black. And unfortunately, the camera is doing that no justice. So we're going to get rid of that. And let's see if I can. Now you can even do like that blooming rose with the blooming gel. Just make sure you put that blooming gel on really thin because it does bloom a lot. Now, if you wanted to get that blooming rose where it doesn't bloom out as much, that's when I would use the matte top coat and give you that same look. So I'll show you how you can get the same look of blooming gel with your matte top coat. However, like I said before, it does not bloom out as much as the actual blooming gel. So sometimes if you don't want it to bloom out as much, but you still want that blooming look, you can use your matte top coat. And it gives you that same, I don't even know if this went off. It kind of gives you that same softer blooming look. You're not going to get as much, but it definitely does work. And you would use it the same way. You would just take your matte top coat, do a layer, keep it wet, choose your color. I'll just grab this burgundy color. This is called It's Showtime. So you're still getting that same blooming. It's just not as just doesn't bloom out as much. But you're still getting that blooming. It just takes longer for the polish to dissipate when you are working with the base coat, or I'm sorry, the top coat. So again, you can still get the same look. It just takes a little longer to bloom out. So you have options available.
Any questions before we log off? So it's super easy to use both of these products.
And it's definitely a game changer. The blooming gel by far is my favorite. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. I'm going to scroll through the chat box. I don't think I missed any questions. Again, make sure you type your attendance information into the chat box. Needs to be your full name, full school name, and school location. So I'm just going to throw my No Cleanse top coat on that one, give it a 60-second cure, and then that one will be done. So there you have it. We've got our blooming gel that works really great with your gel polish, and then the ombre coat is to help you get those beautiful ombre designs using the dip system. Yeah, I'm gonna once the recording uploads onto my desktop, I will then send it over and have it put onto the Your New School YouTube, and then that's where you can view all of our previous webinars. I mean, as far as I know, our YouTube is private, but it's just Your New School is the title of our page. So you should be, I don't know if you'll be able to search it. Otherwise, I will for sure send our link, our YouTube link with all of your certificates, and then you guys will have, you'll have access to it. All right, so I use the No Cleanse top coat, so I don't have to cleanse that one. So there we have it. We've got our dip ombre. We have our blooming gel with our little tortoiseshell, water marbling, and then a second option is to use the matte top coat, but again, it does not give you that instant bloom. So if you're looking for something a little softer, not quite as watercolored, then I would use the top coat. And I've tried using the glossy top coat. For whatever reason, it does not work as nicely as the matte top coat. So I do use the matte top coat when I want to do any type of blooming that's not like a softer bloom. I've tried using the regular top coat and it just doesn't work as nicely. So I like matte better. For whatever reason, it just works nicer. So again, if you're looking for that really fun where it just kind of moves all over the nail and you can kind of manipulate it, blooming gel is the product for you. It is truly amazing. You can get some amazing nail art with it. You can stripe, you can layer. So you can layer different colors. So let's say you did this tortoiseshell and now you wanted to add some glitter, and in between all of these and bloom it with glitter. After you cure the brown, the darker color, do another layer of your blooming gel, add your glitter color and let that bloom. And so you can even layer your different blooming with blooming gel for a more layered look. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it, play with it, create with it. The possibilities are truly endless. So thank you guys again so much for spending some of your afternoon with me. I hope you enjoy, or morning with me. I hope you enjoy the webinar and enjoy the rest of your day. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.